Hello, Just Jax here and welcome to my channel. I have had an idea. Now, as you've seen in some of my videos, when I have ideas, they're not always perfect. They don't always pan out. This one I've got no idea whether it's going to work or not. I'm going to try anyway, because if you don't try, you don't know. And sometimes you just don't find answers to questions on Google because they're a bit too out there. What I have here is an interesting rig, which may or may not hold. We'll see. Consisting of a large mug that was gifted to me a good few Christmases back. A tube from out the centre of foil. Some bamboo skewers, some pegs, some drawing pins, some tape, and a latex glove. My idea is to try and create a sculpture using PVA glue, rice, and form it into the shape of a hand. Now there's lots of things that could go wrong here. The rice and the PVA glue in the glove will be too heavy and it'll all just fall in on itself. And when I wake up in the morning, there'll be a big pool of mess in the mug, but at least it's in the mug. The PVA glue, the rice soaks up all the PVA glue. I mean, it should still dry in theory. Or it all works absolutely fine. This somehow stays together, but I can't get it out of the latex glove. So that's my plan. Let's get it going. I am going to make this really rice heavy. Because I don't want there to be much glue. I want the glue to just basically be holding it all together. And the idea behind this is it's going to look a bit maggoty, so it'll be like a hand made of maggots, rice maggots. So I've got to make it really rice heavy because I don't want there to be lots. I want the glue to just be holding the rice together basically. So that's not quite rice heavy enough yet. Plus, I'm hoping the more rice there is, more rice to glue ratio there is, the better chance it has of actually drying. It's kind of like when you do chocolate Rice Krispie cakes or chocolate cornflake cakes. You always need more cornflake or Rice Krispie than you do chocolate. I used to end up, when I was little, making it rather chocolate heavy, so it was like a chocolate bar with a hint of crunch in it. Then as I got older and that tiny bit more refined, just that tiny bit, I worked out how much nicer it was if the chocolate was literally just coating the flakes, of course, or the Rice Krispies, but more just holding it together to keep a form. I think we're getting there. Because it's going to stick all the rice together with where it's at. And it shouldn't, like with your corn, I can't believe I'm comparing this to Rice Krispie and cornflake cakes. But like with those, it shouldn't all just be pouring at the bottom. It should be sticking to what you want it to. Now, the other test is going to be if we can actually get this in all the fingers. That's why I've chosen like a sundae spoon to use. I'm hoping gravity is going to do its thing and it's going to pull itself into the glove. I think we're good as far as the ratio goes. I think. Let's find out. Right. See, it might have been easier in one respect to fill the glove and then put it in its little holding case here, but then it might not have been. I think I'm just going to have to do a little bit at a time. And hope it all slips down where it's meant to. It is slipping its way down the fingers, slowly but surely. I think that's going to do it. going to give it a little tap. So excuse the banging. Well, the glove looks full. So I'm going to stick that in the front room to dry, my designated drying zone at the moment. Okay, it has been about 2 weeks that I have left this by the dehumidifier to dry. Now I haven't been able to get it out to check, but it feels like it has. So let's find out. Let's try and dismantle this. We'll start out with the easy ones. It looks like maggots are crawling up my pegs now. But that's a good sign. Let's see if we can take this construct apart. And the rig actually held, so that's also a good sign. I never know when I'm going to need that particular setup again, so I will keep that. It worked. It was secure. It supported the weight of this. It's dry. It might be a bit weak in places, but it is dry. Can we get it out? I think we are going to be able to get it out. We might have to cut it out. That doesn't matter. But it is coming away from the glove. I just don't want to break or, you know, put any undue stress on the fingers than I need to. But it has worked and it is dry. Just can we get it out? Can we get the fingers out and have them still attached? It came out. Yeah, it's got a little bit of give. Oh yeah, yeah, it's definitely got some give in there. So we're going to put that. It's not wholly what I envisaged, but I knew I wouldn't be able to sculpt it in any particular fashion. I just had to get it to dry somehow, and those bits of rice are now... Oh, are they coming off? They're coming off. They are pretty much one with a peg, so I will keep these reserved as art pegs from now on. So yeah, I'm going to pop that back in the front room on something, because now that it's not in the latex glove, I don't want the glue, or whatever glue is left in the middle that isn't dry, to just seep out and stick to the carpet, the side, wherever I leave it. Back with the rice hand. Fully dry. Like, that ain't going nowhere. There's some bits that can just go, but... yeah, that is not... when I first got it out, it was squidge. It is not anymore. So, didn't quite know what to do with it. Kind of will possibly leave it as it is. I don't know yet. I feel like it's not done. I mean, the test is done, and it worked. Well, I'm going to stick some nails on it. See how that looks. Now I've chosen Yoo-hoo glue because I want it to blister and bubble, and I might squirt this in some of the little cavities so it can blister and bubble. Let's have a look. Now I've picked out some appropriate size nails. They fit the finger really well. The fingers. Anyways, and apologies if that sounds a little louder than normal or a little up close, or you can hear my breathing. I don't have a hoodie on today. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is that warm. So I have the mic attached to my necklace, which is quite up under the chin. So until I work out something better, because down on the actual neckline of my tops, it's just a vest top, it's quite low down, so it might be a bit of trial and error throughout the summer. We're gonna let that dry again. Forget about it for a day or so, and then see what we're gonna do. Right, the hand has dried, and we have learned something. These particular nails do not like Yoo-hoo glue. It has worked how I want it to on some of the nails. It has, basically it looks like that nail in particular is being ripped up from the bottom side, which can work. We will make it work. What we're going to do now on the continuing experiment that is this rice hand is I'm going to flesh it up a touch. So from my absolutely gorgeous Abominable Snowman, I still have this fleshy tone. So I'm just going to give it a bit of a fleshy tone on the verge of a wash. So we can always build it up if we want it to look more bold. So let's just have a look at what this does. I don't quite know what we've created this time. We are going in completely blind really with this one. It's an interesting sculpture, I'll give it that. I'll be curious to see if we can actually make this. I mean, I say make it work or make it look good. It does work, and when you're creating something that isn't necessarily a thing to begin with, it'll look good no matter how it comes out. The fleshed up hand is dry, a little bit paler than mine. Probably, yeah, it's not far off my pale bits. So we're going to give this a wash. And I was like, obviously I've been keeping it laid down and doing it half and half, but there's going to be run around. It actually stands up, which is well handy. So I'm going to swap its cardboard base for my nice solid wooden base here, and I hope it still stands on there. It's probably not as even. Yep, lovely. I can swap this out then, save that for something else. I've made a wash using some sort of tanned flesh that I whipped up for Mr. Abominable Snowman, and a bit, well, it was about 50-50 this and burnt umber, and then watered it down. Now we're going to get messy for this, but that doesn't matter. Right, I'm going to go pop that back in the front room to dry, and then we will see how it looks once we dry brush it and bring that surface back up to its peachiness. Wash is dry. We're actually looking somewhat more skin toned. Dry brush time. Now I think, let me get a scrap of paper. This will do. I think we might try a touch of both. The darker skin tone and the lighter skin tone. Let's pin that down. It's not pinned down well enough. It's starting to look like something, right? I can't bend my finger quite in the way that that one is, because that's definitely a broken finger. Whatever happened to this hand? Right, think that's all we're going to do to it dry brushing wise. Now, those nails are far too pristine. We've got to scuff them up. Let's get a blade. Now we've got to mucky them up a little bit. Let's have a little experiment. Oh, that is instantly better. A bit of build up behind those nails now. Yeah, I think we're nearly there. I think it still needs a bit of dirt dragged around it. I've got some browns out. Another project. Let's have a little look. If we just went for a bit of manual dirtying up the fingertips. Right, I'm going to let that dry and have a think about whether I'm going to do anything else to it or not. But I quite like where it's at. I'm at risk of... I'm on the cusp of using my technical paint. On the cusp. But I think this would be better left as it is. The rice hand is done. It's come out pretty cool for a bit of an experiment. Let me get my phone up on this bad boy. There we go. Look at that. You can sculpt with rice mixed with PVA glue. Try and get that, let's lay it down, get it in focus. It's not bad for an experiment. It's a bit gnarly looking. But like I said, it has answered a question and we have actually done something with it. So it hasn't just answered a question, it's become something. And for way back at the beginning of the video, the question was, can you sculpt with rice? Can you cast with rice and PVA glue? You can. And that is really solid. Busting up the nails was a good idea. Because they just didn't fit the rest of the hand. Same for adding a little bit of shading. Couldn't go and get too much detail on, like knuckles and wrinkles, because it wouldn't have worked with the nature of the rice. So yeah, that's cool. We will definitely come back to that in the future and see what else we can do with it. If we can fine tune it into something because I've got loads of silicone moulds from all of the resin projects. It'll be cool to see if I could get this. Well, I am going to try the rice in the resin anyway because it's dry and it doesn't absorb, because it had loads of time to absorb this PVA glue, but it didn't. It didn't expand. But also to see if we can cast PVA glue and rice in a silicone mould. Now when it'll come out, it won't stick. It shouldn't stick. I will check before I do that, otherwise I'll diddle one of my moulds. So yeah. Question answered, another one. It's like, can you cook or dry out PVA soaked tea bags in the oven? Yes, I found an answer to that question that wasn't on Google. Can you cast with rice and PVA glue? Yes. Another answer that isn't on Google. Let me know what you think. What should we try next? What should we try and an unusual object, material, food item even, to try and sculpt with and have a long lasting result? And also any ideas for the rice? Any cool ideas to try with the rice? Thank you so much for stopping by and checking me and my channel out. I do hope you've enjoyed this. It was fun. It was time consuming. We got creative. We had to think outside the box with creating a prop out of jugs and bamboo skewers and all sorts of materials. But it paid off. Like if you like what you see, comment if you've got something to say, and subscribe if you really like what you see and you want to see more and know when it's coming. Thank you all again so much. Take care and see you in the next one.